always knowing that the person in front of other people was completely different than the person alone. The habit of concealing certain emotions and choosing to project an image to others. The duality is created from who we appear to be and who we truly are. When you're in the middle of writing a story, it's hard to grasp which chapter you're on. In the midst of your story, you don't seem to know where you're at or where it's going to end. It's like trying to untie a knot or going through a dark, roaring tunnel. But at the same time, it might become the chapter that you bookmark, the chapter that remains in the back of your mind for life. It might even be a chapter you'll revisit and reflect upon again. It's through the storytelling of experiences, the uncertain chapters, and the moments of self-discovery that are woven together into a narrative that can be appreciated later on. It's only afterwards that it becomes anything like a story at all, when you're telling it to yourself or to someone else. You ready, Eminem?
Oh my god, wait. What if, like, I start off and I'm like... Oh, sorry, I was reading the news.
Okay.
Oh, hi there. Sorry, I was just reading the news.
Tell me your name and your relationship is with Sinead.
My name's Aminata Sise, and Sinead was my roommate for 2 years.
My name is Kara Fong, and Sinead's my best friend.
My name is Vilas Fuleskia, and Sinead is one of my best friends.
When did you meet Sinead?
September 1st, 2011.
I met Sinead 3 years ago in history class.
She's very personable, very social, loves to go out, loves to hang out with people. She would literally talk to like anyone.
Sinead is a very extroverted person.
Who is she as a person in your eyes?
Sinead is a really nice, a really mature person.
She's also one of the most hardworking people I know, very much on her grind all the time, which is, I think, a good and a bad thing.
How has she changed from the time you've known her?
Over time, she's become more reserved and has like retreated into her shell a little bit more. She's become much more critical of herself.
She's become less confident of herself, and that's made her not as like approaching and approachable to other people. I think she's become more critical of herself. In the time I've known her, she's doubting herself, which I don't think she should be. She started criticizing and doubting herself and her capabilities, and that's just affected her in so many other ways, like her extrovertism and like her ability to always just radiate happiness when she goes into a room.
Over the summer, she was diagnosed with generalized anxiety. How do you think it has affected her everyday life?
I think it affects her everyday life in such a large way. It just gives her some of the answers that she may have been looking for to why her mood can switch so intensely very quickly, or why she may worry about things that other people don't consider to be important, but for Sinead it's like end of the world.
Can you speak a little bit more on how, I'm just curious, but have you noticed changes from grade 10 to grade 11 where I've definitely closed myself off?
In grade 10, there was almost never a time where Sinead would be in the room for more than a couple hours at a time. She loved to hang out with people, loved to socialize, loved to go out with new people, her friends. But in grade 11, I think she began to close herself off a little bit more. She stuck more to her group of friends, I would say, and she wasn't as sociable, I think, and it was started to feel more like a chore for her than something that was fun.
How do you think she perceives herself?
It depends on the day. On one hand, she's like the god of her own world.
Yeah.
And the second, she's like the scum on the bottom of someone's shoe.
I think she's just so much more critical of herself than anyone else is. The way other people perceive her is completely different to the way in which I think she perceives herself. She's very hard on herself. She doesn't allow herself to make mistakes or to fail, which is very normal, and it's good to fail. But she's very critical. She is striving for this perfection. Just this cycle of trying to reach the perfection but then failing and then feeling like a failure because you failed to be perfect when what is perfection?
If you were to give her one piece of advice, what would it be?
She needs to prioritize herself more. Sinead is one of the kindest people I know, and she has a big heart and she loves to give, but I think sometimes she forgets that she needs to give to herself as well, and that she deserves good things and that she should be a priority in her own life because it is her life. And I think she kind of treats herself like a background character rather than the main character.
There isn't a need to figure out everything at that moment because you're only 17 and that's like 17% of your life. There isn't a set answer. Like, you do everything in such an orderly fashion that sometimes you don't give a chance to explore other things and like possibilities to like create the same outcome. Take your time and experience things as you go.
I think there's this constant worry of what other people think of her, of what other people might say to her, say about her. And then there's a constant worry that she's not good enough for people. There's a constant worry that she's not good enough for herself. And at that point, no matter what you say to her, no matter if we say, no, Sinead, you're amazing, no, Sinead, you're doing great, no, Sinead, we all love you, that doesn't really come through to her head when she's feeling that anxiety attack. So stop worrying, stop criticizing yourself, because you are truly amazing.
Any last words?
No, just that you're truly amazing.
Great, perfect.